Welcome back, everybody, for this 9th episode of Hereticus, a Warhammer 40,000 Dark Heresy 1st edition campaign. And so, I'm having some difficulty remembering exactly what happened last time, at least the details, but I do remember the rough parts. As I recall it, the acolytes went back out into Hive Sibelius, to the mid-hive, to do some more investigation into these heretical preachers, these street preachers, and they decided to split up. They decided to split the party, and with Akalon and Sister Francesca going one way, while Medea and Tim went the other way. And so Tim and Medea were basically doing the stealthy, sneaky, blending in, and also talking. Or at least Medea chose to try to bluff her way into to talking with one of these street preachers. Feigning some kind of interest. No, it went rather poorly, actually, and
but that was a trope that went through the entire evening.
Yes,
we rolled horribly.
Yes, and I didn't do too bad. But that street preacher then, if I remember correctly, left. Walked away simply. She tried this twice, if I recall.
Yeah.
And
I believe we came up with it was because she looked hungry.
Yeah, yeah. She was rather creepy, even to this heretical street preacher. And if
Greta says that she wanted to take a bite out of him, which she probably did because she was hungry.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, the first street preacher who walked away from Medea, actually, he was the one, if I remember, who was apprehended by Sister Francesca and Akalon. They basically made an intercept thing and caught the man. The second street preacher that Medea failed her bluff check with, basically left, and Tim followed him to this rundown workers' bar, where Tim witnessed this street preacher being first shot, then stabbed by some local gangers, wearing cherub masks, and with one of them actually having a mechanical cherub, a servitor of sorts, hovering above him. With this knowledge of this place and these gangers, Tim returned to Medea. They joined up. Meanwhile, Sister Francesca and Akalon were on their way back to the Tricorn with their prisoner. They chose to get back to the Tricorn via shuttle, and this shuttle was attacked by someone up on a rooftop with a missile launcher. The shuttle was shot out of the sky and crashed into a nearby building, and shortly thereafter, Sister Francesca primarily engaged in a gunfight with with the people up on that rooftop, and that's basically when Medea and Tim came to the rescue. Medea flying into to one of the remaining gangers, killing him instantly, and also barely avoiding crashing into a building herself.
What? It worked fine.
It turned out fine at least. And
I'd
if
rather put it that way. Yes, it did cost. I mean, we spent 2 fate points last time. One to save, on my part, to save the prisoner from getting squashed when the shuttle crashed, and the other was Medea to not crash into a building.
Yes, because I basically gave her 2 chances, I think, at a pilot test, and she failed both of them.
Because we rolled like shit all evening. The only time we didn't roll absolutely atrociously bad was during that firefight you mentioned before, because Francesca did actually manage to take out most of these guys.
Yes.
But it took longer than it needed to, let's put it that way.
Yes. So I think that's where we'll pick up. We can also pick up after you've returned to the Tricorn, if that's
might as well pick up there, really, as we get back there.
Yep.
There's no running firefight through the whole of the middle hive to get there.
No, it seems like this was an isolated incident. So.
It should also be said that on the recording last time when we talked about XP expenditure and so on, I believe if that was recorded as well, I'm not sure if it was. But in any case, for the rest of you, so you know it as well, I said last time that I was taking heavy weapon training bolts. I changed my mind and talked over that with Heine because, quite frankly, the heavy bolter in this game is pathetic. Let's put it this way. On average, a heavy bolter will do less damage per shot than a normal bolter, or at least only the same, seeing as a heavy bolter does 2d10 damage plus nothing, and it can only be fired on full auto of 10 shots per round. That's the advantage, obviously. A normal bolter does, or at least the type that the Sisters of Battle use, does 1d10 plus 5 damage. So yeah, there was no real point to that. So I changed my mind and went for heavy weapon training flame instead, because heavy flamer.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, that's the thing, and it really doesn't make sense for the heavy bolter to be this
sad,
this nerfed.
Sad.
Yep.
It's the weakest heavy weapon in the game, apart from, I believe, a heavy stubber. And a heavy stubber is supposed to be the absolute bottom line basic.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so we pick up after you've returned to the Tricorn, and so it's up to you how you want to handle the this thing with the prisoner. He's compliant. He does wake up at some point during the trek back to the Tricorn, but he's absolutely compliant. He doesn't do anything to force you to put a bolter to his head.
No.
He does exactly what you tell him to do. So it's up to you, really. When
we get him back there, the first thing Francesca does is to find the most secure cell that's available. I will have him strapped spread eagle in that cell, and I will put something in his mouth to prevent him from trying to gag himself on his own tongue.
Okay.
I'm not taking any chances that this guy is going to commit suicide, and then I'm going to see if we can't get someone with knowledge of interrogation to come by and have a wee chat with the man.
Okay. You're not going to do the interrogating yourselves then?
I'm not qualified for it. I'm no good at it. I was actually kind of hoping that we could get that doctor that Medici who was so fond of pumping the rest of us full of painful drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe see if he might want to get involved in this and see if that couldn't make the asshole talk.
Well, Ansel Mons, as his name is, the Medici, who performed the hypnochemical treatments on you, is more than happy to help. It really doesn't take much convincing. All you have to do is say the word prisoner, and he's there.
Good. Well,
Prisoner!
in that case, Francesca says, I suggest we get started in, what do I know, 10 minutes?
That should be sufficient time for me to set up my equipment. Yes.
Yes. Good. In that case, says, I will see you there. And on the way back, she drops off her flamer, picks up a helmet and a heavy flamer instead, because there's no problem. There's nothing wrong with intimidating the git.
Nope. And okay. And what about the rest of you? Do you also what do you do now that you've arranged for this for the Medici to assist in hurting the man?
I suppose, would it be prudent to get our wounds looked at? Is that even possible?
It is. It absolutely is.
Even with the good doctor
Now you're doing
otherwise occupied.
Yes.
It's a fitting. It fits.
It does.
All right.
But that said, I think it should probably be fine. I doubt he's the only Medici who's available in the Tricorn.
Yes.
The only one in the entire Hive City.
Nope. No. No.
That's why he's very, very rich.
So this is the Tricorn, and there's practically a legion of Medici available to the Inquisitors. So it's easy to find someone who can help you. And also, Master Chirurgeon Anselm Mons himself has a few medical servitors who can do some basic first aid, basically patch you up.
Yes, you can have a happy little cherubic angel with needles prodding out of it that can come by and stick something pointy into you. Cough, cough.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Because, having dead children heal you is so lovely.
Yes, but this is the 41st millennium, so that's a thing.
There is a Danish word for this, gustent.
Yep. I think a rough translation would be icky or nasty,
yes,
or disgusting, or
creepy, or
So yeah, like I said, you can be patched up, no problem. Oh, it seems like someone dropped from the call. No,
it's having sound difficulties.
Oh, damn it.
Dagnabbit.
Yep. Okay, we'll see if she returns. Hopefully she does. So yeah, Medici. I was going to look up the skills, see what's needed. Who among you have any wounds?
Me.
You have wounds.
I've got. I'm missing 2 wounds. It's not exactly as if it's desperate.
No, I don't think any of us are quite life-threatening, but I'm missing 4 wounds.
Okay.
I don't seem to have lost any of my wounds. They're all firmly in my pocket.
In your
That's
pocket,
good.
you say. Huh. Okay. So let's see. I've determined a. Damn it.
For the record, I don't think Francesca has had time to go and get her wounds looked at yet.
No, that's cool. So it's just Akalon then.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That was actually for Francesca I rolled, so.
Oh, okay.
No,
Oh.
even worse.
That's even worse.
I didn't know, but yeah.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's slightly just to further the embuggerance with my sound problems. Now she can't seem to reconnect.
Oh, that's just... Okay, so what we can try to do is switch to Skype and see if that works.
Yeah, just leave the recording running and
Yeah.
hop over
Yep.
onto ye olde Skype instead.
Yep, I'll do just that.
All right.
Hello.
Here we go.
Hello.
Hey, Macarena.
Right. AJ, do you hear us? We're getting some feedback from you, AJ, so...
Are you muted by any chance?
Well, I can see that my voice echoed in hers at least.
We are clearly having issues.
And I can hear AJ typing.
Yeah, so can I. I try speaking. We can hear you typing.
Yes,
Yeah,
we hear
we
you
can hear
type.
you type. No, we haven't heard you say anything.
The fuck?
Oh, that is weird. Okay, so it
That's
seems AJ is
Now?
trying to... Yep.
Hello!
Yeah,
Yeah, yep. I took my
Yeah.
headset out. This
Okay.
is strange.
It really is.
Yes, let's
Very.
move on before we get any more problems.
Because
Yes.
I can barely hear you now.
Oh.
I'll try putting it in again and see what happens.
Yes.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
can you hear us?
Yay!
Okay, cool.
Sound!
Yes.
Good
So,
old plugging it in
So,
again.
with
Yeah.
that 98 on a, I assume a healing roll thing.
yes, that was a Medicae test for the low-ranking Medicae assigned to patching you up.
Right?
Basically, he's a specialist in the common cold and has no idea what to do with a gunshot wound.
Something
It
like
wasn't,
that.
it wasn't even a gunshot wound, I suspect. If I remember correctly, what caused the injuries wasn't even necessarily the missile, it was crashing into the side
That's
of the building.
true.
Yep.
That's
It's
true.
blunt force trauma.
And
Okay, fair.
so the thing is, if anything nasty happens on a botch, I can't find anything on it. Not a botch, but a 98 is
Pretty damn
Critical
close.
failure.
That's
critical
bad.
failure.
Yes.
Who killed who?
on a failure patient is not. However, a failure by 3 or more degrees indicates that lightly or heavily wounded take a point of damage. So you take a point of damage.
The nice
But
to know that
that's a
we're-
shitty doctor.
It's nice
Yep.
to know that it's nice to know that we're still on form with the shitty rolls.
Yes, but this time it's not us.
No, no,
It's
that's
against
Don't
us,
say,
though.
don't,
Yep.
don't say
Mhm.
that. It'll just,
okay. So this Medicae is clearly doing a piss poor job patching you up, and he's replaced with another Medicae. And I don't
aren't you
think
supposed to yank at this armor plating? No!
Yeah,
Ow!
I
It's
I-
stuck!
I doubt you'll ever see that Medicae again. I doubt anyone will ever see that Medicae again, because if you
Yes,
can't,
we will. We will, but we won't recognize him because he's now being taken away to be repurposed as
Yes.
Servo Skull X15.
that's true.
Oh dear.
And so yeah, you'll be
That is a shame.
you'll be patched up by another Medicae. So where do you go? Where do you go to get patched up, or do you have them come to you? And if so, where are you when these Medicae?
No. I will take my leave of the rest of the group, assuming that I am not required to stay where I am, and will go to them. I'll go to a Medicae.
Okay.
In
Okay. So you're not required to stay with the others, unless, of course, the others demand that you stay with them. You're free to leave and you're free to roam the Tricorn as you see fit. Of course, there are certain areas that are off limits to you way beyond your pay grade, but
Yes, of course.
For the record, if he doesn't show up for this, Francesca's going to use the Vox beat to call him and make sure he comes over, because he's had visions, and I want questions as to whether this priest is aware of what of any of the terminology.
Okay.
If you point that out to him before he takes his leave, he'll make it a priority to head back as soon as he is fixed up.
All right, yeah, sure.
Okay. Well,
I think Tim would actually want to speak to Francesca.
Yeah.
Regarding, well, not in front of the prisoner, of course.
No.
But regarding the situation where Medea and him came to aid them, because he doesn't quite know what the pecking order, so to say, is. When she's not there to take charge, who's in charge then, and stuff like that.
Yeah. That is a fair point. So basically, well, should we hear what Medea wants to do first before we take that conversation?
Well, we would have done if she hadn't just hung up.
Oh. Bugger.
God damn it.
We're really having issues today, aren't we?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, let's hope she comes back.
Yes. Well, we can take the conversation now then, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm sure you will find... well, you will find her outside. She's probably heading back now, equipped with a helmet. She's actually got it on. And she's carrying a much larger flamer than the one she had before. This one has 2 nozzles and requires 2 hands to use, and is just generally fucking massive and looking horrible.
Yep.
I think Tim nods at her and then at the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'd ask you if you were compensating for something, but I doubt it.
Well, he can't see her raising an eyebrow within the helmet, obviously, but she is raising an eyebrow within the helmet. He's saying, I'm not quite sure I follow compensating. This is a tool for doing the Emperor's holy work.
Yes, it is. And it's nice to see that you've managed to get a helmet to protect your, well, brains from being shot out of your head.
Well, there is that, but you need a certain amount of... of battlefield experience before you are allowed to wear a helmet within the order.
Now it's his turn to raise an eyebrow.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like a good way to lose a lot of potential recruits.
It's a good way to weed out the ones who don't know when to duck. Anyway, can I help you with something? You look like you have something on your mind.
Yes, I was wondering, due to the situation earlier.
Yes. Oh, she gestures, by the way, for them to, walk while talking, because there is an interrogation room to return to, but yeah.
Of course. When you and Akalon did not return to the station, we, of course, rushed to see if we could find and aid you.
Yes, and I have to say, apologize for us having left, but we felt that standing around with a prisoner as important as the one we got risked us getting attacked, and as it turned out, that wasn't completely unfounded, obviously.
And in any case, it is your call to make. You are our commander, as I understand it.
There's that.
Which leads me to my question.
Yes.
When you are not around to give orders, who
Yes.
then assumes the commanding role?
Well, if I'm not there and you are, then you take command. If I am not there and you're not there, then Akalon takes command. Medea is not a commander.
He nods. That seems reasonable.
And Achelon is an intelligent man. I have a considerable amount of respect for him, but a psyker should not be seen giving orders.
Yes.
In any case, you have far more experience with violence and warfare than he does. And as a result, if we are on a mission where things can get hot and problematic on short notice, I would prefer to have someone who knows how to behave under fire in command in case I'm not there.
Thank you. It is good to know one's place.
I suppose that is true.
That was all I had to ask.
Excellent. Well, in that case, let us go and see what this prisoner has to say when the Medici applies his considerable knowledge to the task of making him talk. Fill out the heretic.
Okay, so you go to the cell where the prisoner has been, well, imprisoned.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Meanwhile, Achelon, you've left to seek out a more competent Medici, and as it happens, the Medici here in the Tricorn are they have a section of the of one of the towers to themselves, a rather large section, and it's a place of operating theaters, laboratories, morgues. It's a quite sterile place. It's not uncommon for you to, as you walk through the halls of the Medici facility, to hear the screams of patients as they are being operated on by the Medici, and you do eventually manage to find a Medici who's able to help you, who's not busy doing something else, and he does provide medical treatment for you. Basically, it's first aid. So you get 4 points, 4 wounds back.
Okay, that's I can live with that. Just if it hadn't been for that other Medici blundering, I'd be back to full health.
Yeah.
Hello, we acknowledge you have returned.
Hey!
Good.
Let's hear what Aya wants to do before we
Yes.
head over to the interrogation thing then.
Yes.
What?
So, AJ, I imagine you've missed quite a lot with your audio issues. So you have this prisoner who's going to be interrogated.
Yeah, I know.
And so far we've mainly been dealing with minor stuff leading up to the interrogation. So my question is there anything, once you've returned to the Tricorn, that Medea would like to do before we continue on to the interrogation?
Yeah.
Okay, what is that?
She wants to go talk with the quartermaster.
Okay. Well, she knows
She
where to find
wants
him.
a huge ass grenade launcher.
Ooh, right.
That's a good point, actually.
You find the quartermaster in the armory. He's rarely found anywhere else.
He sort of lives behind his desk, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Good at it.
And if if he's not found behind his desk, he's found somewhere stacking boxes and unboxing weapons crates and so on. But yeah, you find him.
All right.
What can I do for you, miss?
A grenade launcher. You have that?
I have several of them. May I ask what? Well, not what you need it for. That's rather obvious. But why you need it?
Because it's kind of useful to take out a group of people instead of just one at a time.
That is true. That is true. Well,
And if I can make them scatter, it's easier to catch them.
Yes. I'll see what I can do.
Thanks.
Not a problem.
So he's going to go through his stores to find one.
Well, at this point, he's going to finish whatever he was doing when she arrived.
Yeah.
But eventually, yeah, he is going to see if he can find a suitable grenade launcher.
Probably some ammunition as well.
Yeah, it'd be useless otherwise.
Frag grenades are nice.
Yes. So eventually, Medea, before you head out again, you should be able to get a grenade launcher.
Well, now I just need to find the specs for one.
Yes.
It's fine. I don't dare do too much on my PC right now.
No, we'll figure it out. I'll check it out when it becomes relevant.
All right.
Okay. So, onward to the interrogation then. You all arrive. Well, that's the question really. Does Tim and Medea also want to be present for the interrogation?
Yes.
Okay. And Medea?
I say, onward, Imperial soldiers. Sorry.
Does Medea want to be present?
I don't see why we all have to be present, but she doesn't have anything else to do, so why not?
Okay. Well, you don't have to. I'm just curious if you are present. Okay. So you all meet up in the cell. Well, I imagine it's not a large cell, but it's at least large enough for him to be strapped down and
completely immobile.
Immobilized. Yeah. And the Medicae. Anselmons has set up his equipment. It's basically a horror show of torture instruments, and he's.
Let me guess. Set it up so that the bastard can actually see them.
Of course, of course.
This is so horrible.
See what?
See the torture, the knives and other horrors the doctor has or the Medicae has.
And the tongs.
The tongs and the pliers and the syringes. Yeah, absolutely. And the containers containing all sorts of nastiness, acids and all sorts of fun. And he's basically just standing there, awaiting some go ahead.
Yes. Well, Francesca steps over to the man and removes the gag and says, "What is your name, heretic?"
He, for a long while, he tries to speak normally, but he fails. He's terrified. He stutters and he can't say anything that makes any kind of sense. Eventually, he does manage to say his name, which is Magor.
She looks at him and nods and says, No, you are mistaken. In this place, your name is not Magor. In this place, your name is Heretic. That is what you are, and that is who you are.
He whimpers.
You can see the man over there.
He nods.
He's a master medici, and you can see all of his tools and implements of his trade. You will talk whether you want to or not. And when you have spoken, he will use his tools on you to make sure that you have told the truth. If you have told the truth, it will not last as long as if you have lied. Consequently, I strongly urge you to tell the truth. When you have told the truth to everyone's satisfaction, you will be punished according to imperial law. It is up to you how merciful your punishment will be. Am I making myself completely understood, Heretic?
Yes.
Good. Then she looks over to Achelon and says, some of the terminology that we have been learning about recently include what exactly?
At this point, I think Achelon will step forward and, out of character, was there any specific titles used, Heine? Or by Joan, anyone who remembers?
We did hear several expressions or terminology used by people even on the streets, but we also learned a lot from the. We also learned quite a lot from simply listening to the preachings, and of course when we fought this what's his face, the bishop.
Yes.
So we have heard some of the terminology, but it's been a while, so I'm kind of hoping that Heine can enlighten us as to what some of these things were.
I can. I'll just have to find the good old notes.
Oh,
Just
the
so-
old notes.
Yes. Just to make sure I give you the wrong, right, not the wrong.
you.
Well, now we know not to listen to him.
Oops.
That's exactly, yes.
You slipped up!
Yep, the DM has officially slipped up, revealed his game.
That was a rookie move. So the terms
Yeah.
you've learned are lost palaces, forgotten gods, and towers of bone.
Alright, those are the ones we aren't supposed to use. You guys remember anything we can use?
Achelon specifically has visions involving black pyramids, 10 objects of power, and a black armored skeleton.
Yes.
So
yes. So I think we'll start with the key words we've heard the
Yes.
preacher speak of.
yes, let us.
You have made mention in your sermons, and your fellows have made mention in theirs, of lost palaces, of forgotten gods, of towers of bone. You will elaborate.
It's they please. He looks over at Ansel Mons, who's picked up one of his very long, very serrated knives, and is
Very serrated?
Yep, and is idly, swinging it back and forth. Maybe not idly, maybe quite deliberately.
I have to say that I should not like this man, because this is you should never like anything that has anything to do with torture. It is a dreadful thing.
Yes.
In terms of the game situation, I think Francesca kind of appreciates the theatrics of the man right now.
Akelon takes another step forward closer to the man and says, "It will go worse for you if you are not able to speak properly, so take a breath, collect your thoughts, and speak plainly."
I'm going to that's not him speaking, that's the GM speaking.
I were about to say.
He's much too calm.
Yeah. I'm going to write something in chat. Some of you may see it, some of you may not. Basically a whisper.
Yes.
The man looks... Well, he's in the room with a sister of battle. Not that he necessarily knows he is. Well, he would know, I think. Yeah. He's in the room with a Medicae torturer, and he's in the room with a psyker, and in the room with Medea and Tim, both of whom look rather interesting, to say the least.
Yes.
Frightening
We're
would be another
about
word.
She's smiling nicely at him.
Yeah, so
we need to get this Medicae to file down her teeth into points.
Hey!
Yeah. And so the smell of urine and excrement is strong in the air. This man is...
The smell of urine and feces is strong with this one, yes?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I am suddenly very happy that I am now wearing a helmet with a rebreather.
I am really sad that I am not.
Yeah, you would. So he's terrified, and he looks back and forth between you guys, and he's... He finally his gaze rests upon Akelon, who was the one who told him to elaborate, and he says, "I don't know anything about it. They just made me say it. Please don't go into my head."
An eyebrow arches. Why ever not, heretic?
I don't like it when they do that.
If you are not prepared to tell me, or if you are incapable of telling me what I want to know, then I think I shall have to.
I don't know anything.
If you don't know anything, then why would it be such a concern for me to go into your head?
Because it hurts. It hurts so bad.
I don't know any GM anywhere in the world who does a whimper and a sob nearly as well as Heine. It is so damn convincing every time.
Yeah. Just as a... I suppose I'm not allowed... well, it was worth asking, even if I don't get an answer. Might I ask what the prior role I had to make was in regards to?
Oh, never mind that role now that you succeeded.
Okay, yeah, sure, fair enough. Okay, Medicae, do you have something to calm this fool's nerves?
I do.
Then please employ it if it is convenient. Please understand I do not feel any particular sympathy for him, but his blubbering is distracting.
Ansel Mons looks rather disappointed. But he does...
Basically, Francesca looks at him at that point and says, "Suffice to calm his nerves, not to dull his senses. I am certain that your knives will be needed yet."
Well, all right then. He produces a syringe and basically administers some kind of drug into the man's system, and the result is immediate. He calms down. Every muscle in his body has been tense, and he relaxes visibly.
Excellent. Now, perhaps I can make some progress with your permissions, of course. He looks to both Francesca and to to Ansel, because they're both technically his superiors in this position, in this situation.
Francesca simply nods and says, "By all means, let us hear what the heretic has to say. I am quite interested. However, please keep it brief. The more he speaks needlessly, the longer he tries to postpone the inevitable, the more likely he is to lie. So let us get brief answers out of him." And she looks at the prisoner again and says, "And I urge you to remember that, as I said, your punishment is coming regardless. It is up to you and you alone what or how that punishment is going to be administered. And consequently, I urge you to be cooperative."
Meanwhile, Ansel Mons he's making a show of trying to decide on the proper tool, basically tapping a finger to his mouth, looking at his instruments of pain, and the poor heretic just he's emptied his bowels long ago, so there's really nothing left. But he's absolutely terrified of the man. He looks up at Akalon and he says, "There's, I don't know half of what they make me say. It's just rubbish. It's just I just say it and they pay me to say it."
Since that is the case with the words I have spoken to you, perhaps you would be more cooperative on the subject of visions. Have you been tainted by such things? Images in your mind, perhaps, of skeletal figures in armor, or artifacts of power?
Have you seen images of such a thing, for that matter? Not necessarily in your head, but symbols, iconography, anything of the sort. Also, she says and looks at Akalon and nods, because he's brought up some good points, but she looks back to the heretic and says, "Also, you keep saying they. Let us hear everything about they. Where they are, who they are, what they look like, what they say exactly, what they pay you, for that matter. You are betraying the Empire for filthy money."
Well, at first he looks at Akalon with some confusion on his face as Akalon mentions visions. He clearly his facial expression indicates that he's clueless as to what Akalon is talking about.
Fair enough.
And as Sister Francesca then starts talking about something more tangible, such as his contacts, he looks at her and says, "Well, it's they wear these masks. They call themselves the baby faces, and they operate out of a, what's it called, a cantina down in
Yes, give us the number of the districts.
They'll kill them all if I say it.
They will kill them all anyway.
But they promised they wouldn't.
They are heretics like you are, therefore they are liars. You will talk. And she nods to Ansel and says, "Make him."
he takes the knife he was holding and moves it to the man's abdomen, and he applies a bit of pressure and draws blood, and the man starts screaming, and he's okay, the screaming wheel.
The screaming wheel.
Yes.
All right. Tell us everything you know about this group. Everything they tell you, word for word. Everything they make you do, how much they pay you. Everything at all.
They just make me go and speak the words that they tell us to. I'm not the only one.
No. That is true, and we should like for you to give us as many names of others as you possibly can. Names and locations.
But if I do this, will you protect my family?
Your family has failed.
No, they haven't. It's just me.
They have failed to stop you from committing heresy. Your family... Well, let us see how deeply and earnestly they repent. I make absolutely no promises. You are in no position to bargain whatsoever, she says, and nods to Ansel again.
And Ansel continues to do what he does best, apparently, which is cutting.
I have to
people
say,
up.
I feel absolutely disgusted. I feel like a horrible human being right now.
And
That's just the way the game is.
Yes. And the man screams in pain again, and he says, "No! Wait! Don't! I'll tell you everything you need. Don't!" And Ansel, of course, lifts the blade.
Yes, and she looks back to the prisoner and says, "Well, then speak. I am listening."
So they give us these pieces of paper with words in them, and we have to preach. Only these words have to be in the things we say, and I don't know why it's just something they make us do, and they pay us 50 thrones every time we do this.
That is a considerable amount of money, especially in that part of the in that part of the hive.
Yes, it is.
So let me just ask you one more question. For now, is it worth it to betray your emperor for 50 throne guilds?
I've never seen my kids this happy, this content. So yes, it is worth it.
Well, I call that a confession, she says, and looks to Ansel. By all means, I suggest we start a new recording. She says we've recorded this already, of course. But I suggest we start a new recording. And quite frankly, I don't care how this heretic dies, as long as he dies. Just make sure that he talks first, please.
Of course.
Absolutely everything you can out of him, and when you're absolutely done getting absolutely everything you can out of him, make sure he's absolutely dead. then dump his corpse somewhere, or we will dump his corpse somewhere.
Well, I do have a request.
By all means, I am all ears.
Might I keep the corpse?
Well, if you believe that the bones can be cleansed sufficiently of taint, then I don't see a reason why not. I mean, after all, we are dealing with a self-professed heretic here, but if you feel that he can be of any use to the Imperium post-mortem, then by all means.
Yes, yes. I think that could. Yes.
She smiles and well, very grimly. It's within the helmet, so people can't see it anyway. But
Sure.
she looks at Anselm again and nods and says, "Well, I suppose the rest of us shall have some more checking up to do, and now at least we have a name and a location." Oh, right. If you can get names of any of his other co-conspirators out of him, that would be great. But if not, fine.
I'll do my very best.
Thank you very much. It has been a pleasure working with you.
And then I assume you.
Yes.
You led.
And then she leaves because, quite frankly, I can't do this anymore.
Well, I think we do have a willpower test to resolve, but we'll do that after the break. And
Thank you. Yes.
so, yeah, we'll take a short break and we'll be right back.